Welcome to CBS This Morning. We have a lot of news today.
Watch Gayle King, Anthony Mason, and Tony DAKOTA on CBS This Morning. Weekday mornings only on CBS.
When we come back, Scott will join us with a look at the forecast. But first, let's send it over to Gayle King in Studio 57 in New York to find out what's coming up on CBS This Morning.
Good morning to you. Ahead only on CBS This Morning, former First Lady Michelle Obama. We discuss the challenges facing America, including the impact of the pandemic on people's mental health and concern for her own family during these racially and politically divided times. Plus, her mission to ensure that all families, hear that, all families have access to healthy food. Go Michelle Obama. Also, cyber criminals forced the shutdown of a major U.S. fuel pipeline, how Russians may be involved in that, and what's being done to restore the service. And Angelina Jolie talks to Vlad about her new movie and balancing work with motherhood during the pandemic. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.
I'm Dave. This is Calvin. Welcome to the neighborhood.
You mind if I cut in? I'm trying to spice Mondays up for everybody.
Let's get this party started.
Bring your friends. What was that?
I was expressing my enthusiasm.
Watch the neighborhood.
Watch Montage.
At a showroom.
I'm in. Please.
Hard to wrap my head around.
Why's the bottle half empty?
I started celebrating early.
Bring your friends.
Good morning to you and welcome to CBS This Morning. It's Monday. You made it through the weekend, May 10th, 2021. I'm Gayle King. That's Anthony Mason. That's Tony DAKOTA. We've got a big morning of news.
A cyber attack targets a pipeline that supplies nearly half of the fuel that goes to the East Coast. And gas prices could go up soon. Why there may be a Russian connection.
Only on CBS This Morning, former First Lady Michelle Obama talks about her new effort to get help to all Americans with the help of two very cute, quirky puppets, plus her advice on mental health during this pandemic.
And a potential scandal rocks the Kentucky Derby after this year's winning horse fails a drug test. The sport's most decorated trainer tells us how he's defending himself.
But first, here's today's eye-opener. It's your world in 90 seconds.
The White House declared a state of emergency after a cyber attack shut down one of America's most important oil pipelines.
The implications for our national security cannot be overstated.
But one of the top suspects is a Russian criminal group.
The president was briefed yesterday. It's an all-hands-on-deck effort right now.
An explosion outside a school for girls in Afghanistan left dozens dead.
The violence comes as American forces continue withdrawing.
As restrictions ease, the U.S. has set another new record for air travel.
We're at the point right now we could start lifting these ordinances and allowing people to resume normal activity.
Republicans face a reckoning this week. They're set to vote on whether to oust Liz Cheney from her leadership position.
To defeat Nancy Pelosi and the socialist agenda, we need to be united, and that starts with leadership.
Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit has failed a post-race drug test, prompting Churchill Downs to suspend its trainer Bob Baffert.
All that?
The U.S. criticizing China for allowing an out-of-control rocket to crash back to Earth into the Indian Ocean.
All that matters.
I said wear a suit. Yeah, and I wore my suit, and you're not wearing your suit.
The Vax Live concert raised $302 million.
The money will buy 26 million vaccine doses.
CBS This Morning.
I'm actually making history tonight as the first person with Asperger's to host SNL.
Elon Musk on SNL made a surprising revelation.
So I won't make a lot of eye contact with the cast tonight. But don't worry, I'm pretty good at running human in emulation mode.
This morning's eye-opener is presented by Progressive, making it easy to bundle insurance.
It was a surprising revelation. He did a great job, though. It showed he had a good sense of humor. But
It's a very popular episode of SNL, too.
yes,
Ratings went up.
yep, their third highest one.
It was nice to see him in a different environment.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
So bravo to Elon Musk. We welcome you to CBS This Morning. We're going to begin with this, though. The race against time after a cyber attack on a major source of fuel for the East Coast. Colonial Pipeline halted operations on thousands of miles of pipeline on Friday after hackers forced a shutdown by taking the company's data hostage. Yikes. That's nearly half of the fuel consumed on the East Coast. Senior investigative correspondent, that's Catherine Herrick, is following this story. Catherine, good morning to you. A few more days of this and gas prices could rise. That's not good as people are starting to creep out of their homes and get in their cars and go places. So what do we know right now?
Gail, this was a ransomware attack, meaning cyber criminals likely encrypted the data and then demanded money to unlock it. Colonial Pipeline has not said whether a ransom was paid. The FBI and a private cybersecurity firm are working closely with the company to determine how the networks were compromised.
The cyber attack shuttered more than 5,000 miles of a pipeline that carries about 45% of fuel consumed on the East Coast after hackers breached Georgia-based Colonial Pipeline's computer system.
Ransomware is a national security threat.
Chris Krebs, the former director of Homeland Security's Cyber and Infrastructure Security Agency, says a criminal gang with links to Moscow is a leading suspect.
Who or what was behind this attack on Colonial?
There is a ransomware crew known as DarkSide. They use kind of a double tap technique of both locking up the networks and demanding ransom, but as well as exfiltrating or taking sensitive data out of the company.
Colonial runs pipelines from Houston, Texas to Linden, New Jersey, transporting more than 100 million gallons of gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and home heating oil every day. The company said Sunday some smaller lateral lines are now restored, but not the main lines. It also said it's taken additional precautionary measures to monitor and protect its pipeline.
Of course, the next few days, that could start getting, you could see local stocks start running a little bit lower.
Ransomware attacks are a growing problem for the U.S. The Homeland Security Secretary recently confirmed more than $350 million in ransom was paid last year, with small businesses especially hard hit. And the number of ransomware attacks spiked in 2020 by about 300%.
Is enough being done to prevent these attacks?
I don't think we've done enough of is signal very clearly with our partners in Europe and elsewhere to the nations like Russia that harbor these criminals and tell them that this will not stand any longer.
Over the weekend, the Commerce Secretary told CBS News that it's an all-hands-on-deck situation. Current and former government officials